Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. If you are in business, if you have a business, even if you have a job, to be quite honest with you, you need a life coach. If you want to succeed, push your life forward, maybe push yourself to the limits, make more money, do well, feel more joy in doing what you're doing, you need a life coach. It really comes down to that. You can go online, study stuff. You're only going to get so far. You need somebody that can hold you accountable to reaching your goals. She can definitely do that. She's got the wisdom to do that. She is Genevieve Wisdom from Wisdom Life Coaching, and she's back with us. Hey, Genevieve, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you, Steve. How are you?
I'm well. Good to have you back here. And, we touched a little bit in the past in terms of businesses and people in business, running their own business. We never got deeper into the life coaching aspect of it. So can we center on that today? Like really dig into that.
100%. I love digging deep. So let's dig deep, Steve. You lead me.
Sure, absolutely. What is a reasonable expectation when somebody wants to move their business forward, move their career forward, when they get a life coach? What are some of the things that can really pop up in terms of coaching with somebody?
Of course, of course. Well, Steve, a lot of business people reach out to me because when we first started or danced, you and I, this journey or podcast, I mentioned all the diverse areas in which I have experience. Well, we didn't really dig deep into my being a consummate entrepreneur. I have the heart of building businesses. And so, what happens when someone is building their business? Often we start with a seed, don't we, Steve? It's something very small. And sometimes it gets very, uh, people get dissuaded if you're starting with something small. So I always encourage, if it's a small business coming to me, do not despise your days of small beginnings, because look at the sequoia tree, for instance. Starts with a little acorn, one of the largest oak trees in the forest. So let's just nurture it. And then again, it's planning, it's writing down the steps that you have to follow. And Steve, it's having foundational steps that you do as a business owner. Every day, you do the same thing the same way foundationally on one aspect. On the other aspect, you have to have this flexibility. We all know that. I mean, look at us doing our Zoom meeting. Now it's commonplace in many businesses. We had to pivot, change, move
Yep.
because the world or dynamics change. And so, have structure, same thing, same way every day, whatever makes you creative, and really have that gusto to go for it that day. And on the other end, you have to have that flexibility. So I help anyone with a business wrestle that out. And it can be a small business owner or a large company. I have had large companies, international, multi conglomerates come to me and say, Genevieve, we have so much money. How do we manage that? So it's starting as well as managing. When all that money comes in, I can do it all.
Let's talk about the small to medium sized businesses. And you said it before, where your foundation has to be kind of the same. You don't want to change the foundation, but the stuff that sits on top of the foundation, call it the house, you know, you want to change that up. You want to keep feeling like you're moving forward or challenging yourself. How do you start with somebody? How do you work with somebody who is kind of stuck in their ways? The foundation is there. They execute it the same way, which is fine. But when you get to the other part of it, they haven't changed it up. And what happens if you don't change it up? You get bored. Life isn't fun anymore.
100%.
How do you take care of that?
100%. Well, Steve, it's pretty simple for me, in the sense that if someone is stuck in their ways, they're always doing the same thing over and over. We have to look at the results, because that's why we're in business. That's why we're in life. If you do A and B and you get C, and you've been doing A and B and getting C forever, but C is not what you want, we have to change. So I will put it back to my valued clients and say, okay, you are really comfortable here. This is really where what you know, what you've done. you tell me the results you've gotten. And it's really interesting when I allow business owners to have that introspective look at themselves in the mirror. They tell me their results. You tell me your bottom line. And then they'll go, oh, wow, Genevieve, I see what you mean. You're not trying to get me to do something that's completely out of my comfort zone just because. It's because I've done A and B and gotten C, and I don't want this C. This is not the outcome. So I always turn it back to you. You know, Steve, you know, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, have you ever done that in business or in just life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I left a job after many, many years, and it was a planned departure, but it just didn't feel right anymore. And I went in. I woke up on a Monday after thinking about it, taking another position in a nearby state, turning it all down didn't seem right. It was a broadcast job. And I woke up on a Monday and I said, Wednesday's your last day. So I left. And then I had this moment like, oh gosh, I just left this job. It was my dream job, but it was kind of time to go. And I talked to a friend of mine who's very intuitive, and I'm like, okay, can you believe what happened? I actually left. And he says, quiet. He goes, habit doesn't always equal happiness. Habit doesn't always equal happiness. And it took me a while to figure that out. But I was that, what we said, the foundation of doing the same thing every day. And it's okay, but it's, really not fulfilling. I'm just doing what I got to do to make money, blah, 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 blah. And that was my wake up that you need to change it up. You need to challenge yourself. You need somebody to help you out with that. You can't do it alone. You can't.
You do, and that's so true, Steve. And back to your friend, habit doesn't always equal happiness. Can you ask your friend if you're still in touch, if I can borrow that? And I always will say, Steve's friend said, because that's amazing. And Steve, that just shows you a little bit about me as a life coach. You have to be willing to constantly be learning. And in sales we have things that we're constantly doing, but in life we should constantly be
Yep.
learning. And I love quotes. That's my intuition. I'm driven by them, and I love that. So Steve, do you think your friend would let me borrow his habit doesn't always
I don't
equal
think he
happiness?
trademarked that, and I've been using it. I left that job.
Oh, did
I left that job
very good.
uh 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago,
Wow.
okay? And I still remember
Yes.
I could tell you where I was. I was sitting on the floor in my back room by the patio door, just like, I can't believe I actually left. And I'll never forget it. And I apply that phrase, that mantra to everything. Like personal relationships. You know what? You wake up every day. Sometimes it's okay. Just going through life, let's say you're married, you got a partner, whatever it is, and it's just okay because it's a habit. So unless you break the
Yeah.
habit and change it up, what do you got? It's okay. It should be great. It should be
It
fantastic.
should be great. It should be fantastic. And we live with passion. And that's what I help business owners do is bring that passion, that happiness, that joy back into business. So even when you're having the worst day you can imagine on your business, there is that happiness that you can't explain it. It's inexplicable. I should be really hating life right now, but I'm in this job, I'm in this relationship, we have this thing we have to work through, but I'm still joyful, I'm still happy because I have the right habits. And so that actually is a great way to segue back to what we started with. You do foundational things, and foundational things are good habits, like making sure that you're exercise, making sure that you're doing something to clear your mind. Some people it's prayer, some people it is just the exercise aspect, some people it's repeating their mantras they're saying. So you have these things that are going to make you powerful, good habits, so that you can have the other H at the other end.
Hmm. Sometimes those good habits are, wait for it, nothing. It's okay to do nothing. Sometimes it's okay to just
So
sit
true.
on the couch and just do nothing. Pet the dog, pet the cat, because you need that time. You need that quiet time to get away from everything that's going on. If that works for you, then do it. Don't feel guilty,
A
you know?
hundred percent, Steve. 100%. And in that place of doing nothing, it's incredible what the body is doing physiologically to
Hmm.
give us that oomph, that je ne sais quoi in French. I throw in a little bit of French every time, which is I don't know what, but it's that something that gives us that pep that you could have made that decision when you did way back then. And, it was scary. It's something that you had to do and you went for it. So, in our moments of quietness, or body, or emotions, or physical body, it's just going through things to regenerate us, revive us, if you will. I love revival.
Hmm. It's almost like it's a reset button. You have to,
Yes.
if you don't reset your computer, restart it, whatever, after a period of time, it just gets all mucked up. It starts getting slow, and once you restart it, it's like, oh, it's working good now, working well. It sometimes you need to do that with this up here, and sometimes you get clarity on other situations. Now, I know that you work with business people in helping them move their lives forward, or anybody that's got a job or a career. You also work with life coaches. You're the life coach to the life coaches, right?
Yes, and Steve, this is very interesting, and I don't know if I should share it here. Oh, what the heck? I'm going to share it here.
Go for it.
What has happened? What has happened with what you and I have been doing on our podcast is I have had life coaches reach out to me to find out, about how is it that I have been able to do what I've done as a life coach, and they're wanting to get information really through your forum, your platform. So thank you so much
Nice.
for that. Yes, yes, yes. And so I help life coaches with their lives and in building a life coaching business, because a life coach needs a life coach. And I remember when I actually got trained, I have all the experience and the education outside of actually going under the life coaching umbrella. However, when I did, I went to a life coaching certification. And the number one thing that they teach you is you need to get life coach. So I got life coached, and I do that to help life coaches build the business. So where do you start? Those foundational things we talk about. And with all my background and different experiences, it's amazing. They really, really love working with me. So I'm a life coach to my peers.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And there's so many different aspects. And you said the B word, business. It is a business. So in you coaching another life coach, there's many different aspects down to how do you run a business? How do you take care of marketing? How do you do podcasts? It's all there. It's funny. I just talked to a life coach very recently, and he's got a life coach, and actually three. And but he said the mistake he made, and they're never mistakes. It's a learning lesson. He had
Yes,
three
exactly.
business coaches, and the biggest challenge there was that each one of them was giving him advice from all different directions, and it's like, what do I do? I pivot that way, but that business coach says that, and that one says that, and it was too much. But if somebody has let's say you're a life coach, nothing wrong with having a business coach and a life coach
Exactly.
work with you.
Exactly, Steve. And it's not unlike the nutraceutical experience that I have in running a
Sure.
nutraceutical business. And so people will get all these vitamins and minerals, nutraceuticals, because they're studied research, etc. And then they forget, why am I taking this? And same thing with coaching. There are different coaches for different reasons. And that's why I love being a life coach. It's because all the different areas of life still happens. Your how you look, how you feel, that still happens. And
Hmm.
people ask me, is it your health that's more important? Is it your relationship that's more important? Is it your business that's more important? Those are all the different foundational walls of life. And that's why I chose, out of everything else, to be a life coach, to help everybody put those different spokes to the wheel together for you, Steve, because you matter. And it's how you view your life, your happiness, what drives you to be the best you can be, that matters to me.
I just got a flash in my mind, and that is if somebody is, and right now we're speaking to other life coaches, maybe you know one. If you are one, what makes you unique? So I've run into life coaches who have a nutritional background. I've run into life coaches who have a medical background. Life coaches, all different types of backgrounds. not just a life coach. Maybe one's an energy healer, life coach, and does energy healing. And that makes them unique. You are unique with your, what we call the youthful aging and decades of working in the beauty industry. So you work at, how do you say beauty from the inside, the outside
Beauty
in, right?
from the outside in. Yes,
Yeah.
Steve, and I do that. It's a specific play on words because what I've found in all the different businesses that I've been in is people, we care about what we look like. And what do you see first? You see the outside first. And we do make judgment. It's just how we're wired from the outside.
All right,
And
here
I,
comes the honest part, everybody. This is the honest part. Yeah,
let's
and
hear
it's,
it.
you, people get judged. So if you walk into a room, if you are looking to grow your business and you have a potential new client, it doesn't mean that you have to be all dressed up when you walk in. You have to work the room, you have to fit the part, whatever it might be, but you have to look a certain way. And by doing that, if you take care of yourself like you do, you feel a certain way, you project a certain energy of confidence and feel good. And right away, you're already steps ahead of the game, right?
100%, Steve. You understand me. Understand me, Steve. Yeah, man. That's exactly it.
I got you. And it's so true. It's so true. It could be you have a certain shirt on, whatever, it makes you feel good, or you look a certain way. We're not saying here that you have to be ravishingly beautiful. You don't have to look like a model. It's a certain feeling you project if you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your skin, taking care of your body, but also taking care of your mind too. They all come into play together, but that moves you forward in everything from personal relationships to even your job or your business relationships. I know you deal with that all the time.
I do, Steve, and 100%. And my background is fashion modeling. But trust me, Steve, I started fashion modeling when I was 13. I am older, or as I like to say, I'm youthful aging with everybody else. And things have changed. And so, one of the areas where I life coach as well is about the beauty aspect. And I may have a youthful aging niche, if you want to call it that, because it is taking care of your skin, looking good and feeling amazing as you age. But I have a lot of young women and young men ask about, the definition of beauty, the psychology of beauty. So,
Hmm.
as you say, what defines a model? And we live in a world now where things have opened up from when I started. And so you're 100% right. It's not about fitting into a mold. It's about you, and it's about being the best you can be so that you can have the good habits, amazing habits, to have that happiness on the other side from the outside in.
Yeah, you know what I call it? I say it's you, only better. And what do we want? We want to be the
Exactly.
best we can be. So take you, you're fantastic as it is, but if you take care of yourself from the outside in, and that's everything. It's you, only better. Now, your organic skincare line is called Revive 25. So here's our crazy synergy. Last time we got together, you said you were going to send me some products to try. And you asked me before we went on here, it's like, did you get them yet? And I'm like, no. I'm like, let me go check the door. You never know. Soon as I go to turn the handle on the door, it's the FedEx guy knocking on the door, and I opened the door just a second ago before we got on here, and he had your package. It was like, what are the chances at that moment that it did arrive just as we're about to go on here? If I had left the door open, which sometimes I do, he probably would have walked in and handed it to me while we were doing the podcast. But I appreciate it. Can't wait to try all the stuff in the box. Um, and I'm
Yes,
opening up now for the
yes.
first time, by the way. Um,
That is amazing, Steve. You understand me. And that's a Jamaican term. Jamaicans are always saying, you understand me? But it's this synergy that you have with different people. And, it's incredible. I mean, how often does that happen, Steve? That someone said, did you get it? And you go to
Never.
unlock the door and
that at that moment, it could have arrived
it's
like three
amazing.
hours ago. It could arrive 3 hours from
Yes,
now. Could arrive tomorrow. We didn't even know, but sure enough, there it
exactly.
is. Um, I'm I'm
Exactly.
I'm opening up one of the products random,
Yes.
and okay. This is the hyaluronic. Am I saying that right? Oil. This is
Yeah.
the
Oh,
okay.
I was
This
going
is
to tell you you're going to open the serum oil. That's my favorite one. I love them all, but
I,
it's the
I gotta
serum.
I gotta say this. I have to say this.
Tell me.
These are all you can't tell what's in each package.
No.
That was the one I wanted. This is where it started. If you remember, I got a sample in. I ordered some hair molding paste, and they sent a sample of some random serum, and I mentioned that to you, and that's how this conversation started. I just reached in. The first one I grab is the serum. Like I had no idea.
That
Freaky
is
weird. All right,
amazing.
so
That is amazing. You understand me, Steve. That is gonna be our line always. You understand me? Yes, Genevieve. Me understand you.
there you
Yeah.
go. So, all right, let's. This is the one I can't wait to try. Your face, your neck. What's the best ways to use this serum?
Best way to use a serum. So, beauty from the outside in, you have the entire line. It's foundational. So, you cleanse your face, take the dirt off, then you tone it, you spray this toner. This serum, this is a serum oil. I love oils. Very, very emollient. So you just need a little drop. I have had other companies say, oh, you just need a little drop, and I'm putting it because I tend to have more dry skin. With this, you only need a little drop. It's sacha inchi and hyaluronic acid. Sacha inchi helps to even the skin tone. So,
Hmm.
Steve, I love the garden of looks that we are, from very fair skin to the darkest chocolate. And fair skin, sometimes as you age, you get little age spots. Sacha inchi oil is amazing at fading age spots. And then you have the
Hmm.
hyaluronic acid, which pulls water to the surface of the skin to give you that plump, young looking skin. So you get both in one oil. So you put that cleanse, tone, serum oil, then you have a cream. And remember, Steve, just a tiny bit because guys don't like their skin to feel oily or
I
greasy.
don't.
And it's amazing because
It's like
men
you're reading my
love,
mind, and it's so
yes.
weird. Like I don't even know what products I use, and that's the problem. I need to get on some kind of like regimen, but I will, feel here. It's like, oh, it's a little dry over here. Then over here, it's like, oh, it's kind of oily. I don't like that oily feeling. So yeah, so it's cleanse, tone, serum, moisturize. Do I have it right?
Moisturize, and then I also sent in eye cream because, of course, that's where we show our youthful age. We have earned those laugh lines under the eyes, but we don't want it to show before it's time. And if we can downplay it, reduce it, reverse it, revive 25, we do that. And so I have an eye cream in there for you as well. Again, a tiny bit. And the eye cream, if more comes out than you'd like, you just dab it around your eye, here in our frown line area, around our laugh line, put it
Mm.
on the neck, put it everywhere. It's amazing. But remember, Steve, for guys, number one thing, you need just a tiny bit and it goes a long way. It's organic because whatever you put on the skin, it eats, it affects your liver. Your liver does over 500 jobs. One of it is breaking down all the things that we're getting into the body externally and internally. So that's why you want to use an organic skincare line, which is what I sent you.
And thank you. You know, I think we all forget the stuff we put on our skin, and it's an organ. It's the largest one in your body. It goes into your body. And I think we forget that. We'll just go to a, local pharmacy. There's many Walgreens here in the States, CVS, whatever it might be, and just grab something and think it's okay. But there's all chemicals in there. You have no idea what's getting into your skin and into your body. This is all organic. I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Revive 25. How did you come up with that name?
Well, Steve, as I'm talking about useful aging, it's twofold. You know how we say, as we get older, and I knew I was getting older because I was repeating what my grandparents said. I grew up with my grandparents.
Hmm.
If I knew then what I know now, I know. And so, I thought, okay, we're here now. Why don't we take the now and do it backwards? We're going to reverse it. We're going to revive. Imagine at 25, if we started all these behaviors, how amazing it would be. And so I just flipped it. I just flipped the 50 to 25, and here we are, revive 25. Now, The great thing is, as we're blessed to get older, we have all these amazing experiences. So I'm taking the experiences over here like we're 25. It's that and simple. Flip it.
You
I
never
love
told
it.
me. You never told me what it meant, but I'm going to tell you this. I thought 25, like age 25. That's where my mind went. So it's really what it is. It makes you,
It really is. It's
yeah,
really what it is. It's
yep.
really what is it. It is. We're here now, whatever age. And here's something interesting, by the way, about that skincare line. I have a friend, Ozzy, who was on the show, and
Hmm.
she uses the toner on the little babies because she has 5-year-old twins. They do everything she does. She tones. So this skincare line can be used across the board. And what's great is if you're a little bit older, you haven't taken care of your skin, or you haven't, you're looking for something great, this helps to restore, replenish, revive 25. But if you're 25 or even younger, you can maintain the youthfulness or regain it on the other end. So, I have a lot of young people who love, especially the face wash. Helps with acne. It's an apple stem cell face wash. Cleans, doesn't dry, helps with acne, keeps it moisturized, keeps us 25.
Can't wait. I'm like, what guy ever says, I can't wait to wash my face? I'm not even kidding. All right. On your website, you have the link to check out and
Yes.
buy the products, correct?
Yes,
Right. Okay.
exactly. And so the website again is Wisdom Life Coach. And if anyone wanted to get a hold of me personally, info at wisdomlifecoach.com.
Thank you so much. Next time we get together, I will be a week in and I'll look like I'm 25. I swear, if I didn't spend time in the sun, I'd look like I was 12. I believe it. I firmly believe it. So,
Well,
uh,
Steve, you look amazing from what I see. And this is only going to help to revive what you started with. So there you
yeah.
go. I look forward to feedback.
Yes, absolutely. And if anybody's looking to change their life, no matter what it is, your personal life, relationships, your job, your business, go to the website and connect with Genevieve. Always a pleasure talking with you. And can't wait to talk with you again and also tone my face.
I can't wait either, Steve. Always a pleasure. Thank
Yep.
you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.